Did you know an enslaved black giant almost destroyed a kingdom? Percy's story is one of brutality, fear, and rebellion. Let's uncover the truth they tried to erase. Percy was feared by the king who enslaved him. This giant's strength was unmatched, and his presence terrified many. But the king saw an opportunity to use him as a weapon. Forced to fight in brutal battles, Percy's life was a constant struggle. The king exploited his power, making him kill without mercy. But that was only the beginning of Percy's torment. To create an army of giants, Percy was forced to sleep with dozens of women. The king's twisted plan was to breed warriors who could dominate any enemy. Percy's nightmare seemed endless. Despite the horrors, there's one part of Percy's story that's rarely told. He didn't remain a slave forever. Percy's actions would soon lead to a brutal and unbelievable turn of events. What Percy did next shook the kingdom to its core. His rebellion was fierce, leaving devastation in its wake. The giant who was once a weapon became the kingdom's greatest threat. Join us in part 2 to explore how Percy's quest for freedom nearly wiped a kingdom off the map. This is a story of resilience, revenge, and a giant they couldn't control. Percy's strength was unmatched. The king used him in countless battles, conquering lands and defeating enemies. But Percy's spirit remained unbroken, despite the brutal conditions. One fateful night, Percy made a daring escape. He fled the kingdom, leaving behind the chains of enslavement. Free at last, he vowed to never be controlled again. In the wilderness, Percy found allies, rebels who despised the king's tyranny. Together, they planned a rebellion, with Percy as their fearless leader, determined to end the king's reign. Percy and his new comrades trained relentlessly, preparing for the battle ahead. The giant's presence inspired hope among the rebels, who believed in his strength and leadership. When the day of reckoning came, Percy led the charge. His immense power and tactical genius turned the tides of battle, overwhelming the king's forces with sheer might. The once enslaved giant stood victorious, the kingdom's army in ruins. The king fled, terrified of the very warrior he once enslaved. Percy's legend grew, a symbol of freedom and resistance. But Percy's story wasn't just about revenge. He helped rebuild the kingdom, ensuring justice and peace. His legacy lived on, reminding everyone that no man should ever be enslaved. Percy's story didn't end in chains. Despite the king's cruelty, Percy's spirit remained unbroken. He began to plot his escape, knowing he could rise against his oppressors. In a daring move, Percy rallied the other enslaved giants. Together, they turned their strength against the kingdom that sought to erase them, fighting for their freedom. The rebellion was fierce and bloody. Percy's leadership was instrumental. He used his knowledge of the kingdom's weaknesses to lead his fellow giants to victory. The kingdom was nearly destroyed, left in ruins by the uprising. Percy's actions ensured that the giants would never be forgotten, their struggle immortalized in history. Percy became a legend, a symbol of resilience and strength. His story was a testament to the unbreakable spirit of those who fight for their freedom. Today, Percy's tale is a reminder that even the most oppressed can rise, defy their chains, and change the course of history. His legacy lives on, inspiring many. If Percy's story moved you, share it. Let the world know about the enslaved giant who refused to be erased. Together, we can keep his memory alive.